Therapy's Better Health, where wellness meets soul work. Today, we are joined by the radiant Melody Joy, trauma informed spiritual teacher, transformational coach, and author of Shaktified. With one foot in Western medicine and the other foot in ancient feminine wisdom, she helps women to transmute trauma, reclaim their energy, and awaken to sacred wholeness. Let's dive into the mystery and medicine of healing. So, welcome, Melody. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Thanks, Shreya. It's super great to be here.
Thank you so much. And, Melody, what sparked your journey from Western medicine to energy healing and trauma recovery?
Well, for me, I've been in the medical field for 15 years and I have worked as a diagnostic medical sonographer. And so I've worked with people of all ages from all walks of life. And during that career in medicine, I came into a point in my journey where I was burned out. And through that burnout, I was initiated into a process of spiritual awakening. And spirit is actually energy. And I found from my work in Western medicine, what I was noticing in my patients with sickness is that their sickness had origins of energy. So everything is energy, and when I saw pathology, I saw how it related to that person's connection to their spirit. So if we have malady in our mind or our spirit, it actually manifests in the body. And for me, I was getting burned out, and so I took a break. And that break and coming into stillness in my own life connected me to my own intuition, my psychic abilities, and the ability to see how energy was moving through my body. And I had what is called a Kundalini awakening or activation, where this primordial force of energy moved through my body and opened up through the energy systems known as the chakras. And each of those energetic systems of the chakra, there are seven most known, although there are more, those energy systems correlate to different aspects in the body and the mind. So they're anatomical as well as psychological. And that is what started connecting me to my own healing and my own path of regeneration. And so from Western medicine, I started to bridge into work with spirit work with women and those on the path who were seeking healing at a different level, not just the Western symptom management level, but to that deep core soul level.
Yes, that's so beautiful. And thank you for sharing your stories with us. And was there a moment that showed uh, that your healing is needed to go beyond the physical?
Absolutely. I think look around in the world anywhere today. There's a tremendous amount of pain and sickness and war and conflict. And all of this is energetic discordance. It's all a part of disharmony. And so I felt like I needed it in my own life. I could see my patients needed it. I could see my family needed it. I could see that the community I lived in needed it. And it was very easy to see how much the world needs it. And that journey of harmony is really about returning to our heart and to our humanity and to see each other as a human family. And that means rewiring the way that we look at not only ourselves, but every aspect of our day-to-day reality.
Yes, that's so powerful to see someone honor both science and soul. It really gives a space for more complete kind of healing. And also, you talk about feminine power as something sacred and often suppressed. So, what does it mean to truly shaktify yourself?
To be Shaktified means to connect to this primordial energy. Shakti is power or energy. In the feminine energy or polarity is about receptivity. Just like when you plant your garden, you need fertile soil. And that basis of fertile soil within us is how Shakti awakens. It's dormant, it's in everyone. We all have the blueprint of it. And when it gets activated or awakened, it's like a seed that all of the coding and information for that seed to become an oak tree is there. And it starts that period of growth or activation into the tree. And so we all have that. It's just a matter of connecting to it. And for most women, especially in Western societies, we've been taught to become men. We've been taught to override those feminine principles of nourishment, of body, of receptivity, of being that fertile soil where things grow effortlessly. You know, the masculine polarity is about structure. It is about the mind. It is the way we put mind over matter. It's how we override maybe the pain or ache that we have in our bodies so that we can continue to do and achieve. That's the masculine way. The feminine way moves through receptivity. So it's all about um, not taking that action. It's about manifesting through the magnetic and flowing with life, allowing it to open up and expand rather than to corral it in to focus and achieve. Just like an architect might make a design to build a house. You have that idea and blueprint of how to build a house, but masculine energy will go get the supplies, do all of the mathematical work, and then build based on taking those actions, where the feminine doesn't do that. It's a very different kind of energy. And when we tap into it, especially for the feminine, it means that we need to stop overriding the body. We start connecting to the heart. We start connecting to the wisdom, our natural intuition and wisdom. And oftentimes that wisdom, especially in Western society, goes against the norms and actions and behaviors that set up that society. So it's a lot less about achievement through doing, and it's more about manifesting through the aspect of being, of seeing that intuitive, fertile space that women especially have as mothers, as caregivers, and and as beings who are able to nourish things to grow. It's very different.
Yeah, that's so true. And thank you for sharing that with us. And also, how does that shift feel in the body when a woman reclaims her energy?
It's usually a process. Oftentimes it doesn't happen overnight, and there are many things that can activate that shift. You know, that can be anything from a woman who's burned out like me. That was my journey. I was burned out because I was doing so much for everyone else in my job and I wasn't receiving anything. And so that was the initiation for me. But many times people get initiated through divorce or relationship breakups or sickness or cancer or sometimes catastrophic experiences where a family member dies or a divorce happens. All of those start to bring enough energy into our lives that we reconsider how we're living our lives. It gives us a moment of stillness or clarity to reevaluate our value systems, to see if the way that we're living is truly aligned with the authentic aspects of who we are. I think COVID was a really good collective example for that, where there was sickness everywhere and it brought up all of our fears. It brought up all of our own relationship to mortality. You know, and I look at the chakra systems as a very systematic way to awakening and transforming through the feminine. And COVID was that initiation collectively that brought us to the first chakra, which is about our basic survival needs. It's about our health and well-being. It's about our bodies. The emotional aspect that's rooted in the root chakra or muladhara is fear. So brought all that to the surface. So that awakening process or connecting to feminine energy is not easy. Oftentimes it's very messy. It's very inconvenient. It challenges us to the very core of who we are with what we do on a day-to-day life and our survival. But there are layers of it. So I use the chakras because I think it's a fabulous map. It looks at the fear and survival, but then it looks at how we're creative. It looks at our power. It looks at our heart and our relationship. It looks at the way that we use our voice to communicate with other people. It evaluates how we see the world through our intuition. And it asks us about what is our relationship to divinity? What is our relationship to spirit? What is our relationship to energy? Are we pushing energy down? Are we avoiding that feminine aspect of our life? Or are we allowing it to be a channel that fuels us and guides us? And it's very scary for a lot of people. And I think that the awakening process or tapping into your feminine energy often needs guidance. We need another person or a community to hold us as we go through those stages of transformation, of rewiring our body and our perception into a way that's much more harmonious and sustainable, which is the work I do. I needed it, and I had fabulous, amazing, supportive teachers on my journey, and it led me to become one of those guides and supports for others as they walk through that journey. We need to be held. That's the feminine. The feminine holds us, reminds us that we're safe, that we're loved, that we're worthy, that we have everything that we need to do in order to take those small steps sometimes to make very big, impactful changes in our lives. And when we make change in our lives, it ripples out into every aspect of our existence, from our health and well-being to our peace, to our heart, to our families, to our communities, and to having work that feels fulfilling and sustaining rather than draining and exploitative, which is how the feminine has been used for hundreds of years. It's about exploiting that energy rather than truly honoring it and seeing it as equal.
Yes, that reclamation sounds electric and almost like remembering something ancient that was always occurs. And also trauma lives in the body. So how do your practice guide women out of survival mode and back into the embodiment?
So the beginning is really about going through the memory body. What were the ways that we were conditioned? Often the first 8 years of life, we get all of the ways that we are learning how to live life. And we get that from mom and dad, our families, and school. And if the way that we are conditioned to live is not in alignment with our authentic energy, then we often repress parts of ourselves. For example, I had a client who was having digestive issues that was related to allergies. And she came to me for that. But those allergies, when we looked at her early programming with her mother, was that she had a rupture. She had a rupture in the relationship with her mother where she wasn't able to use her voice, and the digestive system is connected to our solar plexus, which in the chakra system is our power center. And so her power was blocked off, and the only way that she could get power and truly be seen by her mother and then later her husband and her community was to have the allergies. She would go and say, "Oh, I can't eat that," or "I can't eat that because it's gonna cause an allergic reaction in the body." But that was this unconscious belief that manifested through her body, where she could actually get what she needed as a child that she never got, which was that love and attention and nourishment from her mother. So that unwinding process, again, it takes time. So we went back through that memory, we went back through the conditioning, we went back through the initial moment that she could recall of rupture. And once that happened, we were able to start to move through the allergies, to move through this unconscious need to get attention and connect to her power where she could consciously own it and realize what was happening. And in that way, she unblocked the energy in her body and unlocked that feminine aspect of Shakti or power or intuition and wisdom that's in us inherently.
Yeah. True healing really looks and feels so different. And thank you for sharing this. And in a world with quick fixes, what makes true feminine healing a radical and necessary commitment?
It's slow. You're right. Our world is addicted to instant gratification, and social media and technology are like they're like a virus, that really steals and robs us of our attention and awareness. So to slow down and recall our awareness into the current present moment where we're at is part of the initial step of healing and also at the very end of it. Our awareness and our intention is where everything lies. And we have to call back, we have to call back and reclaim our awareness. We have to bring it back to our body. We have to bring it back into those places and spaces and moments that feel uncomfortable. It's all I often feel like healing begins with that icky feeling, right? Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, this doesn't feel good. But those are the moments where true change is actually happening at a psychic level and also at a cellular level. So it's slow. But when we constantly call back our awareness and take those moments of spaciousness, then our energy naturally rises and expands. And it's a often uncomfortable process, but it's also very, very beautiful when we connect to that wisdom. It starts to give us experiences that are euphoric or ecstatic or blissful, or where we're emerged in a sense of being fully and wholly loved and taken care of. And oftentimes, receiving love, especially for women, is really hard because we have these early childhood associations of when we receive love, we connect it to pain somehow. Because often our mothers had that because their energy was being exploited and they had to run masculine energy of doing and being everything for everyone all at once. It's rooted in survival. So that reclamation process is stillness and awareness. And you're right, it's ancient. It's ancient, and we're living at a time of great change. And there's something that's shifting right now. So, this return, the work that I do is happening in my clients and myself, but it's also happening in the world right now, which is why there's so much calamity. All of that is an outward expression of all of the darkness and all of those ways that there's pain and suffering coming to the surface so that something new can be born, so that something new can emerge where we're not so exploited, where we're not repressing and denying parts of ourselves, but rather celebrating them.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's also the most sacred threshold that we have ever crossed, maybe. And this is a wonderful conversation with you. And thank you for sharing all this. And if my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
They can reach out to me at melodymysticjoy.com. If they sign up for my free newsletter, I have a free meditation for the second chakra, which is all about creativity and flow, that I offer any new subscriber.
Okay, and I will make sure to attach all the details and links below so that the listeners can find them easily and get in touch with you and have a beautiful conversation with you because you're a wonderful person. And thank you for sharing all your stories or experiences, your knowledges with us. This is really beautiful, and I'm really honored to have you on my show. And to all my listeners, if something stirred within you today, honor it. Let Melody's word guide you inward. Pick up Shaktified, explore her courses, and trust that healing is not about becoming something new, but finally returning to who you have always been. Keep rising,
Mhm.
soft, and strong.